like you could just see that like there was a master at work here. You know what I mean? Because everything, I feel like every scene seems to be like it plays out almost like a comic book. It's been storyboarded and it plays very well. You know what I mean? Even the love scene, if you pay attention to it, it looks very much like a comic book would.
Oh yeah.
I think it's back to me. So I was gonna say, how many times have you seen this? Would it be only twice?
No, I think I've seen this movie probably, I want to say maybe at the most 4.
Okay.
It's probably been about, like with a few years in between each time. Usually I'll catch it on TV when it's rarely on TV, but when it is, I think I always end up catching it. I never catch it all the way through. But I've seen the whole thing already before, but most of the time I'll always, come into the movie 20 or 30 minutes into it.
Mm-hmm.
And, but yeah, I'd probably say about 4 times. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Let me see. I think I got a question for you. Do you think the movie holds up as coming from 1995?
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like my opinion's biased because I grew up with this movie. This might be one of the movies that I've watched the most in my life. I beat the shit out of that VHS tape. I watched it almost every day. I would reenact the scenes as a kid, with my guns and stuff or whatever. This movie kind of inspired me to be a filmmaker, and the scripts and everything that I've done, I feel like it's all centered around this movie. As much as I love Tarantino, I feel like Robert sits right alongside him, you know what I mean? And this movie really created like that, made me want to be a movie buff, and made me like start memorizing dialogue and everything, everything that I know now and everything that I've done, I feel like is because of Desperado in a lot of ways. So
yeah. I understand that.
So going back to your question, I think it completely holds up, and like, people could say that it's dated or whatever, and but it's like, but yeah, that's the charm of these movies. We're supposed to go back and be kind of transported back into time. So when I watch this, it's like it takes me back to being a kid and remembering where I was when I watched it in certain times, or my my mind frame then and how I am now, and I enjoyed this like so much, and just like little things that you don't notice, or that you're like, oh, that was really cool, or even like I was saying, even like all the stunts and everything, it was just like so like I feel like it was almost like his peak, you know what I mean? Like this might be my outside of Sin City, I think this is my favorite film from Robert. So yes.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
So first off, have you seen all the films in this trilogy?
I actually have, and is there a second part to this question? Yes, I have seen the other 2.
Okay, so I was gonna say, do you have a favorite in the trilogy? That I was leading up to that question.
I'd say probably. Thinking back to the other 2, I feel like my memory of the 2 movies is kind of mixing together, so I can't really remember what happens in the other in the both of them separately. Mm-hmm. But I definitely remember Johnny Depp. Was he in the third one?
Yes, Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Yes, I think I want to say that one's probably my favorite.
And I mean, the first one is Robert's debut film, from '93, I think it was, and that was because, of course, it was like extremely low budget. I think they made it like on $7,000.
Oh wow!
But it was a different guy. The El Mariachi. It's called El Mariachi, and the dude was different. I think do you remember Campa and Kino, his friends that come out towards the end of Desperado that help him?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the original Mariachi is one of his friends. That was the dude that came out in the first one.
Oh wow!
Yeah. That's a little cameo for you guys. Or
that's cool.
Swan.
That's cool. I'd probably say the third one, Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Okay.
It's probably my favorite of the three. I'm just saying that because I feel like that's the one I remember the most.
Yeah, that's the newest one.
I feel like I've seen that one the most out of the three. So I'd have to say the third one.
Okay.
Probably my favorite.
Sounds good.
What about you? Out of the three, where would you rank them?
I would say Desperado #1, which is why we are doing the focus today, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
El Mariachi second, and Once Upon a Time in Mexico third, because when I watched it, I was not to step on your toes here, but I was a little disappointed in that one because I felt like the tone was just off to me. But that was a long time ago, and I was actually talking to Chris about this yesterday. I want to revisit it and see if I still feel the same or if I like it better. You know.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring that up to you today. That maybe we should do a three-parter for this. It doesn't have to be, in a road. Every couple of episodes, maybe maybe in 2 or 3 episodes we'll hit the second one, and then in 2 or 3 more after that we'll do the third one, and then we can maybe do a comparison of all 3 of them.
Yes, I think that's a great plan, man.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I'm totally down to do that. I'm stoked that you even care enough to want to do that. So yeah, that's awesome.
No, yeah, I thought that'd be really cool, and maybe if we can get was this Chris you're talking about?
Say again.
Was this Chris talking about the movies too?
Oh yes.
I was gonna say maybe we could have him jump in and help us out.
Yeah, Chris is always welcome. I hope we can come in. I know he's a big fan of Rodriguez as well, so maybe that'd be fun.
Yeah. Next question.
Is it my turn?
I kind of asked you a similar question to the one you asked me, but it was kind of how would you rank the 3?
Oh, okay, yeah. So mine is, do you have a favorite character from this one, Desperado?
Yeah. My favorite character. Let me think. I guess it just has to be the mariachi man, Antonio Banderas, but I feel like that's kind of too obvious, and but I'd have to say he's probably my favorite character, and then I think honestly one of the characters I remember the most from when I first saw this movie was Danny Trejo.
Oh yeah,
and
with the throwing knives.
Yeah, I mean, I remember seeing that, and then I think I remember reenacting it with my action figures or something, and I thought that was so cool that this guy's throwing knives, that's awesome. I mean, like, why does he have this tattoo of a lady on his chest? That's weird.
Which is real.
And yeah, but I have to say Antonio Banderas' character, but. I mean, who would be your favorite character in this movie?
I like Selma Hayek's character too, Carolina, they call her.
Yeah.
She's good. She's funny. Cutie, of course.
Yeah, no, you put her on your on the Woman Crush Wednesday.
Yeah. She was only 20. She was our age back then, dude. 27. Only 27.
Holy crap, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So her, and then of course Mariachi Antonio. He's amazing. As you know, he's a pretty good actor always, but I loved him in this because he sells things so good. You know what I mean? He does.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Like the thing, like I don't know, like the little things that he said. Like I feel like there's so many one-liners in this that I just can't ever get out of my mind. Like at the end when he's like, "Let's play," little things like that. You know what I mean? Just so good. So yeah, I agree, man. He's definitely a charmer. And that was this was kind of like his prime, you know what I mean? He was like middle aged, still killing it with the ladies. He did all his own stunts and really played guitar.
That's crazy. Yeah, and I I think it's almost the opening scene when he's playing with his band.
Yes.
And I believe that's really him singing, right?
Yes.
I was surprised when I was listening or watching the movie. And I'm like, wow, he sings pretty good, you know.
Yeah, that's on the soundtrack. They recorded that track and everything. You can totally tell that's his voice. That's his voice for sure. It's so distinct. There's no mistaking it. Fucking Puss in Boots, dude.
I was just gonna bring that up right now. Oh my god, man, we're on the same level right now.
Oh,
that's funny.
Anything else?
Yeah, I got a question. What throughout the movie, what was your favorite scene?
Oh man, I'd have to say that first shootout, and that's actually going to be our closing dialogue for this show. But when he comes in, and it would be the first shootout when he walks in and they're all scared because of Buscemi's character had just told them this fucked up story or legend about this guy who has this mariachi who has a guitar case full of guns. So they're all on edge, fucking scared, and Antonio walks in through the door of that same bar. And so they're all like, well, what do you got in the case? Blah, 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 like hassling him, and he's being nice. And then some, when they open the case, at first it's like the frame of a guitar, the top of the guitar. But once you keep the case open, I guess it raises up and it reveals all of the weapons underneath. It's like a hollow guitar case, if that makes sense. And it opens up by itself, and the guy's like, it's him. And then this crazy 10-minute shootout happens inside the bar, and it's amazing, funny. And I don't know how they shot that. It must have been hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that's my favorite scene. I have one last question, but I'll ask you the same because I'm actually really interested in this. Do you have a favorite scene in the film?
I actually do. It is the I think it's the opening scene when Steve Buscemi's story that he's telling.
Yes. He just does such a good job of selling it, and then how it's intercut with the scene and everything.
Oh yeah, definitely. I just thought it was so cool because it's like he's telling this over the top like fantastical story of how this mariachi guy comes in and he kills everyone, and then as he's telling the story, you see Antonio Banderas' character shooting all these people, and then you see them fly. He shoots them and they fly across the room. Which I think they did it in MythBusters. That can't happen. But it's just crazy, and it's like he's telling the story. He's like, yeah.